And so the clockwork part is what we all have that we are about to, I feel, take to the next level as a team. Okay. And that is a system. Okay. And I'm not going to go through a whole system training here in the, in the next last 20 minutes or we have together or so, but just to explain a little bit about why our model is so unique and different, because we say we're different by design, right? We are different on purpose. This system was built for expansion. There's no way you're making 30. Yeah, by the way, there's a difference. Let me explain this because I want to make sure it's not sidestepped. Okay, there's a difference between Todd Kemp having 15 million under management and having a six-figure income. Okay, that's recurring income, and I don't have that yet, right? Working towards that, have it by in a year or so. That's recurring income, okay? But it's not passive income. There's a difference between recurring and passive, okay? Passive income is income that comes in whether you like it or not, okay? It comes in because other people are doing the work to continue to bring in a revenue. Recurring income is money that keeps on coming in. And yes, it's likely to keep on coming in, but you still have to build that relationship with your clients. You still have to do work now, for me, it's very enjoyable work. And I love that kind of work. It's having coffee with your client. It's fun work, but it's still, you can't just go to, Australia for a year and just never talk to anybody, right? I mean, you can't do that. You have to be in business. So I'm talking about passive income. Passive income comes from the third and I believe most powerful way to leverage our time. Since we're all constrained by the same 24 hours a week, right? Or a day, right? 168 hours a week. We have the same amount of time. Yeah, you might be able to work 50 or 60 hours, okay? But every additional hour you trade away, right? You're giving up something else, maybe time with your family, things you want to do now. And if you never find a way to leverage your time by building other people to teach them to do the same thing you're doing, you'll always forever and forever be trapped in this mode of, if I want to make more, I have to work harder, right? That is, and to me, that's not an attractive thing. And by the way, I didn't come in this industry because I wanted to be a financial planner or financial industry. I came in this business because I wanted to build a business. I came from a business. I had a house painting career. I say, during college, my 5 years at U of I in Champaign, and some of you know this already. I had a good painting business. I started off at 18 years old. It was a franchise business. I started with a bunch of my high school buddies. We all learned how to paint. I got trained in like a franchise type of a business model. And the next year, I had about 4 or 5 other managers that I taught to do the same thing. I ran a small side business. The year after that, I had about 10 managers. And then after 5 years, I had 15 to 20 managers in about 3 states, okay? And I was more of a corporate guy at that point. But I saw early on what it was like to be the one who everything, the buck stopped with you, everything counted on your own effort when I first came into that business. And if I didn't do it, I'd make no money if it wasn't me doing it, right? To later on, also realizing why I didn't necessarily want to be in the corporate world, because I had maybe 400 or 500 houses we painted in my last summer. I only made like $20,000, which for a college kid is pretty good. But compared to how much revenue the company made and did no work really, except for me in the field, I saw, wow, so that's how that works. I didn't want to be used and abused as a middle manager as I got out of college. So I didn't take the route of going and interviewing after 5 years at U of I and, graduating with good grades and all that. I decided I never went to one job interview actually, because I knew I wanted to be in business for myself. I just didn't know what it looked like. And lo and behold, this business in its infancy stage, kind of fell into my lap. But what I'm about to show you is what it was attractive to me. And I'm not going to go in depth in all these things here for the sake of time, but I want everyone on the call to know it all starts with our person. So we have to first be the example. There is no, I'm going to tell everybody else to do it, and then I'm going to have a big team, and I'm going to be sitting around drinking margaritas on a beach somewhere watching whales jump out of the water. No, that happens in fairy tales, or you get extremely lucky. Okay. But if you want to build something systematically, we can't count on luck. We have to count on a system. And so the system demands us to be the example. You hear the speed of the team is the speed of the leader, is the speed of the team, right? So personal income, you go do 10,000 points as an SMD, you're making $6,500. Okay. So, you have to first pay your bills. You have the first order of business, as Bill Mitchell says, is to stay in business. So you have to pay your own bills with your own pen. Don't count on anyone else to pay your bills for you. Okay. Now, once you're paying your bills and being the example that you need to be, and we all need to be, now I could start having an agency income or a team income. And that's where you start to see what you saw with Patrick, where you're building other people and you're getting what's called a spread for helping them, developing them, building them in the business, right? And that's at a base shop level. So you have associates who are agents, right? And now we have a new position called senior agent that we're using, right? Which we'll talk briefly about. Those are positions within your base shop. These are part-time people that you're helping, grooming them to become just like you. So we want everyone to have the same contract. Okay, that's a huge key. Then we talk about expansion income, where you're starting to build all over the place, and bonus income, where you could share in the revenue of the whole company. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Those are very exciting things and huge, probably the biggest parts of our business. But let's start with just having a team income first, right? And of course, our own individual pen. But why is it so different than a traditional agency? And you look at traditional agency, and you can compare it to like real estate or something like that. I'm searching for the person who is, I have to mute. There we go. Okay. So traditional agency, you can compare it to even like a real estate company, which works very similarly, where there's a broker right now, and you hire some real estate agents. The insurance industry, which is usually what we're looking at, most people come into our business with an insurance license first, because that's the foundation, right? And then that's a great place to train those who would want to become securities licensed and kind of get to that different level in our business. But some people, they always want to be an insurance license. They could do great with that license. And that's nothing, there's no shame in that whatsoever. So our industry, when you start off as a traditional business owner in the insurance and financial services business, there's a firm owner, right? And they hire and recruit just like we do, but they hire and recruit salespeople. Okay. We would then go in our model as an independent owner, okay, which would be like senior marketing director. Let's call that a senior marketing director or agency owner in our business. We're also recruiting, but we're recruiting other owners. We're recruiting partners. We're recruiting people with the purpose of them having exactly what we have. Something I remember from my painting days is that every year I'd have 12, 15 managers, 20 at my biggest, where I can set my watch this. The following year, some would stay, okay, and probably the ones that were okay would stay. But the very best ones, you know what they did? A lot of times, they said, you know what? Why am I giving 26% of royalty to AAA student painters? I know how to put up a lawn sign. I know how to they trained me how to do all this stuff. I know how to do estimates and sell and produce and hire painters and all that. I'm just going to make my own deal. Okay. And guess what they did? They made their own deal. And what did I do? I trained my competition is what I did. I trained someone else who would become my competition. That's exactly what ends up happening in traditional models. So it doesn't matter in a traditional agency, any performance of any of the people that are recruited, because they can never have the contract of the owner. They can never have that contract. So our again model is for everyone to have the highest contract. And so the secret is our highest contract is 65%, whereas the highest contract that I would have over here would be what? 100%. Okay. So I get 100% over in the agency model. Well, Todd, isn't that bigger than 65? Well, it depends how much you know, 100% of nothing is still nothing. Okay. It depends on what you want to build. If you only want to sell the rest of your life and you only want to be restricted, your income restricted to what you do at the end of your own hand, then please join the traditional agency model. If you want to one day have some freedom, then this is the next place to look at, because here's what ends up happening in the traditional models. Exactly what happened in my painting business many years is the very best person, hold on, let me, we got another person who's unmuted themselves. Mute. Where is that person? I just muted myself. All right. That was weird. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Can we just make sure we keep muted, guys and gals? So here's the thing. What ends up having your very best person, the person who looks at you and says, you know what, I want what they have, they leave, you train your competition. And then meanwhile, over here, we have a shared opportunity. We stick together as a team. You know, they say when you're independent, an independent sole into a traditional agency owner, you are actually the most captive ever, because you're captive by the fact that you have no collaboration. No one's going to talk to you. No one's going to because why? You're competition for just about everybody. You're not going to work in partnership with anybody. I would never have, you know, Tony D'Amelia as the tax expert. I would never have Mario Sonardi as the client service. I would never have a Patrick Callahan or Anthony Guerrieri or Shante Moore or anybody like that I can talk to. And so it's kind of a selfish way to run a business if you look at it that way. You know, finally, this traditional agency just spun out another agency who's clearly their competition. And when you leave a traditional agency, do you just go by yourself? No, you pick off a couple of their people and say, hey, come with me to this new business. And then you start your own. Meanwhile, over here, we have we can all share that success, because the goal is everyone gets to a 65% contract.
What's wrong, Mabry?
I hope that makes sense.
What?
Now we got another person who's
What's wrong?
not okay. Here we go. Got it. Okay. There we go. All right. I'm glad I have muting power. All right. So let me just close up here by just you know, helping us see then what's next for us here. Okay. Move this. So when we look at this business pipeline, okay, I'm going to close with this concept here of, you know, a system, right? Because again, it doesn't matter how big your contract is if you have no predictable system, or like Patrick said, like clockwork way to bring on new business. If you don't have that, you could have a 300% contract level and you'll still make less money than someone who's got a system who's got 45%. Okay. That's the bottom line. And it all starts with sharing. So we all have to, it's a numbers game. It's never going to change that it's a numbers game. It's always going to be a numbers game. We're always going to have to share with enough people to get a desired result. There's no magic where you can say the right words to the wrong person. Okay. It doesn't work that way. You can say the wrong words to the right person and they'll probably still join. I joined and someone just totally threw up on me and didn't even follow up with me for a month. And I had to seek them out to go to a BPM. I joined, I had no support, but I came in because I was the right person. So, but you have to talk to enough people. So it starts with your sharing list. Then it's about connecting. So this whole concept of connecting versus contacting. Connecting is a whole different word now, right, for our business. And that's because it is through social media, through all the different ways we can connect. What we want to do is connect our message. We want to connect the message of stamping out financial literacy, of being able to live a work optional lifestyle, of having a business that you can call your own, of firing your boss, all the things that attract us to this business. If you can have those 30 conversations with people that are essentially leading you to getting information to them, whether it is, hey, can I send you a video? Would you watch it? Hey, if I sent you this book, after you explain what the book is, would you read it? let me follow up with you. I'll take the responsibility of follow up. I'll call you in 3 days. You said you're going to read it in 3 days. Great. I'm going to call you on Friday. We're going to have a discussion about it. So you are now setting the stage for then having a follow-up discussion about the material, the value you're giving that person, which is essentially all the stuff we didn't even have to create, the videos, millions of dollars of that. How the book, which is brilliant, that a media tour is there to promote that. We've got everything in our hands that I never had starting this business. It's a perfect time, actually, because it can all be done digitally and virtually. Okay. Now I'm going to take those 30 people, and what I want to do is I want to have 10 follow-ups. From those 10 follow-ups, okay, what does the follow-up look like? It could be a wealth wave overview that they get on. It could be they go to one of our master classes that we'll have. They can come to our event that we have next Tuesday, right? A live meeting. From that, we're gonna the goal here, and this is extremely predictable, is you'll have one person join you in business, whether a referring person or someone who says, look, I want to partner up with you and do what you're doing. You have one person do that. You have 2 solutions from that. And you'll generate $3,000 in revenue that you'll be able to make $1,000 to do that. And that's with just sharing. That's with connecting with 30 people. That's very, very. In fact, it would be almost crazy if you didn't hit that goal. Really connecting with 30 people, then you get referrals, right? And that goes back into the sharing category. You get people in the business and licensed, and they become How Money Works educators, and then they go back into the system and do repeat. So this is our business system, right? That is how we continuously grow and why we're kicking the butt out of everyone in the industry right now. And Patrick already shared this slide a little bit, but these numbers are updated and actually bigger than they were. So we know that last week we talked about having a goal for Evolve Financial Partners, that we were going to have, each team broke down their goal of how many shares we're going to have, how many people that we've connected with, and then at the end of the day, how many solutions are put in place. A solution is also, well, I think the best solution is that someone joins us in business, because I think that, if I'm talking to a 50-year-old or 55-year-old person who's never saved a dime before, maybe my financial solution isn't going to change their life as much as the business solution will. So I look at every solution as being very powerful, but certainly partnering up with our firm is maybe the most powerful solution of them all. And so we want to be able to track whatever you measure grows. Whatever you measure grows. And so if you don't measure it, guess what's not going to grow? Your business, right? If we take the business casually, you'll become a casualty, we say. So what does that just mean is, if we just want to kind of fly by the seat of our pants and, I'll talk to people when I feel good, or when the timing's right, or when the situation presents itself, if you do the business, sometimes you'll make money sometimes. But if you do the business with a purpose, if you do it on purpose, and you have a target and a goal, and it's just one a day connecting, really, I think is a great goal, one a day connecting with people, then, and following up, then of course, you're going to have a business that you can actually set your watch by. And if you could do that with several people, you'll have a bigger business that you'll be able to set your watch by. And so these are forms that, we've gone through this, right? How to track your business in the next 6 months, the back half of this year. I think we could do more in the next 6 months than most full years, because of how compressed time frames are now with what's been going on in the world. And then you break it down to, what are you looking at daily? What are your daily numbers? So we're not just looking at breaking it down as, looking at something once a month. We're looking at every single day, how many new connections did I make? How many people I follow up with? What was my financial solution count for the day? Did I have any new agents, net points? What's my cash flow from the points? So every day you have a running total. If you're focused like this, I promise you, 2021 is going to look nothing like 2020, because you will have grown so much you won't even be the same person. And that's kind of what I'm looking at myself. And also getting to the nitty gritty is really looking at oops, not this one. Sorry. Moving stuff around on my page here, is tracking each person that you talk to. So every person I talked to so far this year, I've written them down. I've tracked them. Now this is just certainly say I'm putting them into Salesforce when they become serious, right? So Salesforce is this is my first tracking place, which I just want to have some notes. I don't even know if what they're interested in yet or whatever. I'm just recording that I reached out to them. Okay. And then the notes over here. So next time I follow up with them, I know what the heck, if you're reaching out to one person a day or two people a day, or, I do 5 a day. That's my goal, 25 a week, not including weekends. So 25 people a week you're reaching out to, you better have notes, because your follow-up conversations are not going to be like you actually listened to anything they said, because you'll forget, right? If we're constrained by what our own mind can remember, we're going to have a very small business. So you have to make sure you're tracking, taking plenty of notes. I've got notes for every conversation I've had so far this year with every person. And that makes it a lot easier to follow up. Okay. So in closing here, we've got a couple things on the docket. Oh, before I want to make sure I mention this, is going back to our Evolve site. Okay. So we all see this, right? So what we've done, what Angela has put together, which I think is brilliant, is to help us simply track our solutions. How many people are we making impact with in our business right now? So by going to Evolve Partners, evolvefinancial.net rather, and then clicking on Families Help, you'll be able to go in here and record every single time that you've implemented a plan, any plan. You just click on it and then follow the prompts, and you'll be able to record that we helped a person with a solution. So we're tracking it by solutions. So let's say you help one family with 3 solutions. Well, you would go in 3 times and say I would say I did an IUL, a term insurance, and an IRA. And I would go through each one and submit it 3 separate times. So every solution, we want to count every solution. If we measure what we do this year, then that's how you can grow. You can only grow if you measure it. And so we want to make sure we're all on top of this. So anytime you go into GroupMe, which we love seeing GroupMe messages of people, how many people you've helped, that's incredible. That's awesome. Just remember to go to this site, evolvefinancial.net, click on Families Helped, and then go ahead and record it here as well, so we can have a running total for the whole organization. Okay. And then lastly here.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We just want to go back to July 1st.
Okay.
Okay. And our goal is 2,000 families helped.
Thank you.
By the end of the year, for the second half of the year. And then that doesn't measure everyone. That just measures those of us that are doing this program right now. So yeah, but that's what, so if you go back, anyone that has had any results, and we don't want to double count, right? If you're going to do it, make sure that your SMD doesn't also do it. We want to get the number right. But the main thing we just want to do is we're looking for 2,000 solutions in this group between now and December 31st. And I think if we achieve that, we're going to have some kind of a, celebration in the new year over it. But at minimum, we want to go back tonight, anyone who hasn't had a chance, and go back and log anything